Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library. And today we're going to go back to the novels and talk about the second novel in the unofficial Callistia trilogy. This one's by Kevin J. Anderson and it's called Darksaber. So, the Callistia trilogy is similar to the Dark Lord trilogy from back in the prequel era, in that it's not a real trilogy, but it is a it's kind of billed and marketed as such. So it's not a real one. But this is the second one, and it's actually my favorite one of it. No offense to Barbara Hambly, but it definitely Kevin J just kills it. I think with this one, this is actually a really good read. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so the novel Darksaber basically is about Callistia and having recently lost her connection to the Force from Children of the Jedi. She is basically on a mission with Luke to try and get her to be reconnected to it again. Similar to what we talked about last with Ulic Qel-Droma and all of that in Tales of the Jedi. Again, that was Kevin J. Anderson. This is also Kevin J. Anderson. But it's picking up from where we saw with Children of the Jedi. So basically, he and Callistia, or Luke and Callistia, or Callista, or whatever, are going on this odyssey. And this odyssey is basically like a lot of the greatest hits from episodes 4, 5, and 6. We go to Tatooine, we go to Hoth, we go to Dagobah. In fact, they actually meet the Wampa from Empire Strikes Back that Luke encountered. Callistia gets to explore Echo Base, and kind of reminded me, when thinking about it, kind of reminded me of the Jedi Academy video game. That one too. Like, I liked it, but a lot of it was like, oh, it's the greatest hits of the OT, and then plus some other greatest hits from the expanded universe. So, not a bad game, but it's kind of like, there's not really a lot of new locations or EU centric locations in this novel. It's primarily the movies. So basically, they find that Callistia can tap into the Force, but only the dark side. And so, Roro, right? That's a big deal. So ultimately, at the end of this, Callistia will actually end up leaving Luke and goes off into God only knows where, basically to find herself or to figure out life, because she feels that she is not good enough for Luke. She feels that Luke Skywalker, if he's going to be with a woman, she needs to be powerful and she needs to be strong in the Force. Setting up right Mara Jade, which, for me personally, when I first read this, I had at this point when I read it, I had known and had read and invested in the Mara and Luke relationship. So I had already known where it was going to go. But I liked Callistia and Luke together in these. I actually really liked that. But of course, in learning all of the behind the scenes and how fans were outraged, because they worship the ground Mara Jade walks on, I can kind of see the frustration. But I mean, for me, I'm like, I kind of like this, but I don't know. Maybe if I was actually invested in this, when it first came out, then maybe I'd probably be a little bit more up in arms. But, again, I came into this, in like the early 2010s, late 2000s. So I had long known where we were going to end up. So, anyways, I liked it, but the fans didn't. So here we are. So the bad guy of this is Admiral Dala. She is back, and Admiral Dala is still kicking. She is ruling the Imperial Remnant, and she actually tries to attack the Jedi Academy. So the students will defend the temple, as they do, and Dorsk 81 will sacrifice himself to stop the Remnant. He's basically almost used like a nuke to destroy the Remnant, the attack. So Dala's screwed up again. Obviously, it's kind of a reoccurring gag, I guess, that she is kind of losing consistently. But as other people have pointed out, she gets, she comes back as, learning from her mistakes. So it does make that interesting. But that's what happens here. What are Han and the gang doing? Well, Chewie, and Leia are dealing with Durga the Hutt. Uh, and Durga is building or seeking to build the laser of the Death Star called the Darksaber, hence why the novel's called that. So the New Republic, they work to fix this. General Crix Madine is kind of the guy who's in the forefront of this. He is from Return of the Jedi, who tells the rebels like, "We have stolen a small Imperial freighter, disguised as a whatever that guy." He works kind of as the front to stop this, and he's actually killed by Durga, which again, this was like, oh shoot, like another movie character bites the dust. I mean, yeah, he wasn't, a major film character. He was in that one scene in Jedi, and he popped up again time and time again in the expanded universe. But this was kind of like, oh shoot, especially back then, in publication wise, I'm like, oh shoot, we're killing off a movie character. That's still kind of a big deal. But still, I mean, I think it's worth mentioning. So that's what happens. The Darksaber is destroyed and Durga's defeated, and all's well in the galaxy. And quite honestly, it could have ended there. Did we need Planet of Twilight? I don't think so, but I'm probably getting a little ahead of myself there. So is Darksaber an essential read for the Star Wars Expanded Universe? I would say yes, in the context of the trilogy it is. I mean, obviously, if you're going to read the story arc, I think it is. Is it for the entire Expanded Universe? No, probably not. But here's the thing: even though I don't think that it's a essential read, I'd still say go check it out. I'd encourage you to read it. I had a blast reading this. I reread it in, I think, 2017 or 18. It was one of those two. I reread this, and I powered through it. I powered through it so quick. And it's a good read. Kevin J. Anderson, I really like him a lot. For me, he writes a good Star Wars novel, and so this one was really good. It did not disappoint. Again, is it going to influence the greater EU? No, probably not. But if you've read Children of the Jedi and you liked it, definitely would go into this one as well. If you're a fan of Callistia, you should do that. But I think it's a good read. So, anyways, thank you so much for checking this episode out, and I will see you next time with another episode. Until then, may the Force be with you.